Right, so I've got all the slabs waiting and ready to go. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cross hatch these. I'm going to use this sort of textured brush for this, texturing brush. Scrape down the joints, give them a good deep gouge. All the way around and every one of them. Not the most exciting job in the world, but it's best to do it properly. Oops, I'll cut that one. All these cut. This is the jig I made up to cut the slabs. Lay the slabs on, little heart wire, cuts it perfect every time. Back to cross hatching. These slabs have all been extruded through a die that I had cut, so it gives me this cross section every time, which I need for this particular pot. Right, we can start to construct. I'm going to save that slab while it lasts. So we start with this side, plenty of slurry, plenty slurry. You can't get too much slurry on these. On both sides. Clear your bench, bring it together, push it into position, make sure it's sealed, give it a good press in. You've really got to make sure these joints are well together. If they're not well together, they'll come back later and they will bite you in the backside. A bit more slurry on this one. This is the next one that's going on. Slurry that up. Again, in position, good firm push, make sure you get it where you want it. And you see this pot is now starting to build. That's two, just come in a little bit. More slurry. In, get in position, and push, press it into position. It's just a case of putting them in one after the other and making sure that they're well located and good firm push together. This last one's always the problem. You've got to try and get the gap somewhat light before you put it in. You take your last slab, plenty of slurry, all the joints. That sits in there like so. That sits in there like so, and you push it together. And you can see it's starting to take on the shape of a hexagon pot. In fact, it has taken on the shape of a hexagon pot. Make sure that they're really well pressed in. Go around and check all your joints. All your joints want to be really well constructed. So what I intend to do now is flip this. Board on the top, flip it over, and then work on the top edge, making sure that everything is pressed really firmly into position. water around the rim. And that's how you make the hexagon pot. Well, that's how you make the body of it. You've always got to get above and just check that it is actually square and in shape. And you can see from the top we're getting that sort of hexagon shape. And then bring this down, you can see the profile of the side of the pot as well. So that's all looking quite good, I'm happy with that. Right, you should be recording. So what I've done, I've rolled out a slab of clay and I'm just going to smooth it off a little bit before I put the main pot on. Right, so this is the pot, and this has been setting off for an hour, 2 hours, so it's got a little bit of rigidity, so I can now lift it up and sit it on that slab. So while I put it on the slab, I'm going to make sure that it's square and I'm happy with the shape of it, which I am. Now I'm going to cut it. I always cut from the inside. A lot of people, when they're doing slabs, will cut from the outside and they'll stick the pot to the slab. What I like to do with these is stick the slab on the inside of the pot. So I'm going to put a little mark there, I'm going to put a little mark there, and that tells me the position that I need to put it back on it. And I'm going to cut up the inside of the pot. Cut all the way around it. And we'll take the pot back off. So that's my slab. So you can see the reference mark that I've put in there. So we'll lose this. And I'm going to sit this slab on a piece of kitchen roll. This stops it sticking to the board. Stick it on the kitchen roll. Right, now I'm going to apply some slurry. And I apply lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. I really want to get this thing to stick. Well, the last thing you want is it coming apart in the firing, so you get lots of slurry on it. As you're coming around, try not to cover up your reference mark. So that's got plenty of slurry, you can see that. Right, so now I'm going to put this on that. You get your reference mark and you slip it over the slab, you bring it all the way around and you push it into position. That's in position. More slurry, fill them little gaps up. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run that clay up against this stick. This stick's here to stop the pot distorting and moving. I get some sludge on my fingers and I start on the inside and I just push that clay up to the pot and I smooth it in at that point there. I smooth it in. Bring it all the way around to the opposite side. Push that clay up to the pot. Smooth it in. What you're doing here is you're pushing the clay into that gap and you're just making a seal. Push it in right up to the gap, and you do that now all the way around. Making sure that you don't forget any of them, which is quite easy to do. Now sealed all the way around. Pushing it well into that joint, making sure it's... We'll give it What I'm going to do, I'm just going to give it a quick clean up with a sponge on the inside. Make sure it's well sealed. Lift it up. Give it a zinc. Right, that just needs to set now for a couple of days. Or tomorrow maybe, and we'll get some feet on it. Very pleased with that.